Hey lovey-dovey's, it's Holly with the Center. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you why I quit my job as a teacher. Okay, here it is. The truth comes out. All right, so I was teaching preschool for 7.5 years, and I loved my job. Loved it. Like seriously, I never thought I would ever quit. I had so much fun playing and teaching kids to be curious and digging in and taking things apart and problem solving and building relationships, and it was like my favorite thing in the whole wide world. But something happened. Do you want to know what happened? Okay, so I was seeing some big behaviors in my classroom. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay, so I thought, okay, we got to do something with the things that are going on in my classroom. We got to figure this out. So I started working on myself. You know, sometimes you cannot fix others. You can't fix other people. You can only fix yourself. So that's what I did. I dug into myself, and I figured out, where all my anger and all my frustration was coming from. And I worked on calming myself and pushing my pause button and just being a better person. So I got that down. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not a fantastic person, but I'm better than what I was. Okay. So I worked on myself, and then I started teaching the kiddos in my classroom about being a good friend and building strong relationships with our class family. Our teachers, all 5 of us, all bought in. It was beautiful watching those kids love each other, build each other up. It was wonderful. Okay, got that, fixed myself, worked in our classroom, and then we saw, well, listen, we only have these kiddos how many hours a day, and then they go home, and then they go home on the weekends, and then they go home on summer break, and then they come back, and we got to rebuild all this community type things. We got to rebuild how they interact with each other. You know what I mean? Okay, so we started offering parenting support group classes, kind of like thing. I was just wanted to share with the families what we were doing in the classroom. Then I fell even more in love with doing that. So we built this community of families that built each other up, and it was a beautiful thing. All right, so then here's me. I'm crazy. I'm slightly crazy, and I really dug into that. And fortunately, I had a principal that supported me and said, "Go for it, Holly. Run with it." So we went to a conference, and it was here in Owensboro. It was Anna Age 8 author. Have you ever heard of him? Don Capello? Okay, listen. It was wonderful. Okay, so he had this theory, and it was called the upstream solution. All right. He shared about this theory, and it blew my mind. Would you like to hear it? Here we go. So once upon a time, there was this lady, and she was walking down the road down by the river, and it was a beautiful day. And then all of a sudden, she saw somebody floating down the river. Ah! Oh my goodness. So she jumped in, saved the person, and she went along, and then another person fell in, and she saved them, and another person fell in, and she saved them, and she's tired and she's exhausted, and she's like, what in the world? Why are all these people falling in? Okay, so that's kind of like our community is overworking, and our teachers. Listen, those teachers, dealing with behaviors and all the behaviors, one thing, and then all the standards, and then all the testing, and then all the junk, and then all the paperwork, and then all the blah, 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 blah. Like, it's very tiring. It really is. Okay, so you're saving out all these kids that you can. The kids are going down the river. They're floating down the river. We're pulling them out. We're giving them support. We're supporting them. We're saving all these kiddos. And then Mr. Don Capello, he said, why doesn't anybody go upstream and figure out why the kids are falling in the first place? And when he said that, it was life-changing. At that moment, I knew, okay, this is bigger. This is bigger than what I can do in a classroom with singing and dancing, which that is so important. We need teachers who will build relationships with kiddos. We need that. But I was that person. I'm going to be a builder instead of a lifeguard. Okay, those teachers, we got to have you in the classroom. We got to have the support. We got to have FRCs. We got to have counselors. We got to have all these amazing staff that we have in school systems. You guys are lifeguards. Okay, you're going to be pulling kiddos out, but somebody's got to go upstream and rebuild that bridge why people are falling in the first place. And I wanted to be that person. Okay, so that's what we do at the center, and that's what I get to do now. I get to build and support families and teachers and anybody that works with people in our community. Like, can you believe that that's my job now? I just can't even believe it. It's outrageous. But so anyway, I want to share that story with you. Like, we're taking applications now. Do you want to be a builder or do you want to be a lifeguard? Because those are the positions that are open, and it takes the whole community. All right. So big things are fixing to happen at the center. I can't wait to share about it. But it's all about this whole, like, pulling people out before they fall in. Preventative. Like, let's be the change and go in upstream and figure out a solution before we all fall in the river and are just floating down, drowning together. All right, does that make sense to you? It's really, really powerful, and I hope that makes sense. Let's all be builders or lifeguards, okay, you guys? Have a great day.